Hey guys, and welcome to FanCast. We're very grateful to be recording from the historic St Kilda Sports Club, the oldest locker room in the Southern Hemisphere. Join us on the bench, where we talk all things footy. We're fans, and this is FanCast. G'day FanCasters, welcome to another episode here in the pod where we have a proper footy chat. We're back in our lovely home, aren't we, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay, home sweet home.
Oh, it
Smells like
my
home.
second home.
Home away from home.
Yep.
So thanks very much once again to Manolis Tapaspa for having us last week. It was an absolute pleasure to be there. Great vibes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of those wonderful specials that Steveo read out so eloquently last week. You did very well with that, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, no, why am I thanking myself?
Well, you were going to say thank you, Joe, for the
Oh,
compliment.
yeah, thank you, Joe, for remembering that. Thank you very much. The seats are definitely a lot more colder than what they were because the 1 week hiatus, but that's all right.
This is a bench, mate. It's a bench.
We love
It is a
Manolis
bench.
Tapaspa and we really love the St Kilda Sports Club.
Yes.
Absolutely. So thanks very much once again for having us. Shout out to you, Apollo, and Dave as well,
Yes.
doing good stuff.
Good stuff.
Did you guys manage to catch much football this weekend?
I caught a bit of it. Yeah. How about you?
How about you?
How about you?
Yeah, I watched a fair bit.
Fair bit?
Yeah, fair
Okay.
bit. Yeah, watched a fair bit of footy, which is good.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that.
What was your favourite game?
Hawthorn being the only team to win by a big margin this week continues to show how
Wah,
great they
wah.
are.
35 points.
Okay.
Wow. Big
Yeah.
boy pants were on.
There was a moment where I wasn't sure that was going to happen, though.
Yeah,
It looked
yeah.
a little testy.
Yeah, I was at the game,
Testy?
and
Is that the
it's
word?
fair to say that was the first 3 quarters we played awful.
Yeah.
Melbourne, I thought we had once again this season a bit of the rub of the green in that game, and I thought Melbourne were much better in the first 3 quarters, but good to see how professional we were to finish out strong in the fourth.
Yeah. there you
Very
go.
professional.
Yeah,
Very
but Melbourne
professional.
should have been like 4 goals up heading into the 3/4 time.
And they
Big
should have
Goal
certainly had a...
efficiency.
Bad
eh?
kicking is bad football.
It's true, and they've never really been goal efficient. They've had some
No.
games where they've racked up like 20 behinds.
Oh, they've blown a dynasty
Yes.
just on that.
It's
They
true.
would make it to finals and they'd make it deep into finals and they'll go out in straight sets because they would bomb the ball inside 50, dominate territory, but just have the ball be given back to the opposition on a silver platter in the form of a kick in.
Yep.
And all pressure just gets released.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But Cozzy Pickett absolutely should have had a goal in the goal square. How
Is that the worst missed call of the year?
That has to be the worst missed call I've ever seen in my
Oh,
life.
That was
I went
horrifically
to the
bad.
toilet and I actually didn't see it happen, but I just heard the uproar in the from the crowd in the background. I'm like, what's
Well,
happened?
the problem is, like, I've seen people legit fall without anyone near them and they get a free kick, and then
Yeah.
Cozzy's tripped and doesn't get a free
Yeah,
kick.
that's
It's
the
like
worst
so
missed throw
bizarre.
I've seen this year. That is unbelievable.
You went to the toilet. Did you see the umpires in there with you by any chance? Because that's the only way they were able to miss that free kick. Seriously.
Yeah, they gave me good aiming.
Oh, the classic peas and poos over there at the Hawks.
Just a little handhold.
Yeah. No, but yeah, kudos to you guys. Still, with a, I suppose, depleted type of
The
forward
ball
line.
had really good grip in the second half as well. I'm not sure if you noticed from the umpires.
It's unbelievable, honestly. This is a highbrow comedy that we've got
Yes,
here.
very high.
But Gunston just continues to go away. I got to give a shout out to Gunston. Seriously, he's been doing so well at this late stage of his
I
career.
can't believe it.
I don't think he can believe it either.
No, I don't think anyone can believe it. And he's been an absolute champion over the years. And he's still got a bit more spring in his step. So he's kicked 23 goals in 6 games, basically.
Crazy.
At the minute, I probably got my brown and gold goggles on, but at the minute he's probably all Australian. I'd probably put him in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
It's a bit early.
Equal second, equal third in the Coleman.
Okay.
Playing a few less games.
Yeah.
Very
We'll
impressive
see
stuff.
about that.
We'll see about that.
Oh, I said at this stage.
Those are some fighting words there from Anna. We'll see about that. We'll let, he won't let that go down without a fight.
Nah, he'll be fighting.
What happened to Higo?
He wasn't feeling well during the week, and we weren't sure he would play the game at all. He actually sat out some stuff during the week, so we were worried. I think they really only let him play because of the Coleman situation. And then in the last quarter, I think he was spent. He just sat it out.
Also for Spud's game, maybe.
What do you mean?
Also, he got up for Spud's game.
He got up
as well.
for Spud. That's probably the more ethical reason he played.
For the
Silly me
Coleman.
for thinking it was for him to get goals.
Yeah.
He did get a nice goal though. It's a nice
He
one.
did.
Yeah. I think he was a little spent. I think you could tell.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But he was ill.
Carlton was spent too.
I mean,
They were down to 2 in the second half.
are we talking about this game?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it. We're
You
here.
talk about this game. I watched it from the Medallions Club. It was quite fancy.
medallion.
Thank you, Sorrel.
Highbrow. Indeed.
I was just a boring. It was a boring game of football. The only optimism I had, aside from seeing Philippou play finally and not looking altogether too rusty, was that I did see the Saints try to really push the ball down the middle instead of playing the boundary so often. I really saw a lot of effort to that, especially in the first and second half.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it did not work out. But you win some, you lose more. That's that's my motto.
Yes, the St Kilda way, huh?
But I didn't think Carlton were all that great, and that's what was so bothersome about it. They looked beatable. No offense to all my lovely Carlton supporter fans or supporters, but
Friends.
supporter fans. But I did want to say I have this thing. When you're at a game, tell me if this is a cultural issue.
Sure.
When you're at a game, are you cheering?
Yes.
Are you
Normally,
cheering?
Yeah.
How much % of the time are you cheering? Do you wait for something to cheer? Do you cheer to rally? When do you cheer?
I cheer every time I see something good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm pretty similar.
So if it's a good,
So you're not
if, it's
like
a good if it's a good spoil or a good smother or a good tackle,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, well done, Reedy, or yeah,
Or
well
you're not doing like the rally.
I'm the exact
You're
same,
not
yeah.
like, come on.
I do that at the start of every quarter and
Okay.
after every goal.
Okay. Because I find, and maybe it's my big mouth, I don't know. I find that people around me, when I'm not with my beautiful aisle 29, shout out, I
Shout
love you
out.
guys. When I am not with them, people are, it looks like even other Saints supporters like offended that I'm yelling
What?
at a stadium during a sports game. And I think that that is bizarre.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you should be yelling. It's a thing that you
It's a
do as
spectator sport, yes.
supporter.
You're engaged.
Like,
You're watching a game.
Why aren't you engaged at all? Yeah, I was just curious if it was just me, although you guys haven't quite heard me at a game. Maybe I am a little loud, but still, I like, you know what? Whatever team you support, if you're a supporter, get down there and yell and scream for your team. It's really frustrating to see just a bunch of people who are there to take a nap. I mean,
Well, some people
you
take
can-
cheese boards.
They take cheese balls.
I don't
They
think
take all
there's,
kind of
there's
things.
nothing wrong with passion.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with passion.
It's
And
like they're
as-
offended.
As long as you're not swearing with kids around.
No, I'm not swearing.
Yeah, no, I know you aren't, but
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, Anna, stop swearing in front of the kids.
not
Yeah.
every game. I didn't even comment on the umpiring when where I was, but there was also a lot of Carlton supporters around.
Of
They
course.
they were actually quite loud at very insignificant moments of the game, which I thought was a little bizarre. Like,
Interesting.
your team didn't play that great. I
Yeah.
don't know if you needed to go that hard on the.
But sometimes, I mean, people are allowed. People can certainly feel as happy or as dishappy with a win as I guess
It's a pretty good win in the context. Like
Yeah.
they had 3 less players for
Please.
second half.
Please.
no,
It's hurting
it's
when
a
you
fact.
say it.
It's a fact.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
a great win for them, but to be fair, we gave it to them. We let them win
Yes.
because we fumbled the ball quite a bit. Can I say fumbled?
Yes. It is,
Yeah.
it is a word. I'm pretty
Many,
sure.
many clangers in that game. St Kilda, not in sync, not hitting targets. And there's something about the elements that just doesn't suit us.
The MCG.
The element, like if there's no roof, you can guarantee we're like at 75%.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but we really are bad with the elements. So, and it wasn't even raining. It was just a little bit wet, and it just ruined our mojo.
I also just reckon it was just really poor the how you played like the last 6 minutes. I would have thought. I was speaking to Joe before you came, and it's just like Carlton were 3 guys down, and you play slow. Like
That's a coaching problem.
that doesn't make any sense to me. Wouldn't you want to? They are spent. They're playing defensive for a reason to just hold on to the lead. You want to be going fast at them, and just when St Kilda had the ball, if it's not in Nass or Sinclair's hands, just don't really know what to do.
Yeah, I'll say this, and it might be a controversial take, but there are a couple of losses we've had this year that I think was a coaching problem, not a player problem. And that night could have been one of them. Although I think they were trying to play different. It just wasn't working. So if it's not working, they go slow.
Yeah.
I get like where obviously if you go fast, you know, he who runs stumbles, that classic Zen saying. I don't know where I heard this, but it just comes to my mind. He who runs stumbles. And so I guess if you're trying to go really quick, you might inadvertently end up kicking it, to someone like a Wiedering or a Sauce.
Yes.
Both of which played unbelievably well. Like
You'd rather take that chance on though, wouldn't you?
But you certainly should be trying to take it on, I agree.
Yeah.
I think we did, and then it just wasn't working. And what was happening a lot is like we were moving the ball, but then before the 50, like you could see it move really quickly, and then before the 50 it's turned over, or in the 50 it's turned over, and it just wasn't synchronized the way that it should have been. And I think it was the elements, to be honest with you, which is a silly reason, but I do think that was part of it. And I also think when a team is taller than us, our confidence struggles.
Yeah, Cooper Sharma did not have that influence that he had the week before. They're a much tougher team to play against at the MCG, the Blues. That really was their home ground, even though it's Bud's game.
Well,
but
it felt like
playing
their
it
home
at the
ground.
MCG and with all their fans,
And
it certainly felt like their home game as well.
Yeah, Charlie Curnow was a doubt as well for that game.
Yeah, I was so sure he'd be out.
yeah.
And he just cut sick. He was unreal.
He was sensational.
And it felt
Mackay.
in the stands, it felt that way because, there were a lot of Carlton supporters and not a lot of Saints supporters. Couldn't even hear them. It was very sad. Please get out to the games, guys. That's how they lift when you show up and you yell. That's what happens. That's
You want to get
motivation.
games at the G? Turn up.
That's right. You want games at the G, you need to go and support your team. I did think they lifted a couple of times when you could hear a whisper of Saints support. So I think it does make a difference. And I think it's your responsibility as a supporter to do that.
The 19th man.
Absolutely.
On
That's
the field.
my moral for that game. And it does suck when you lose and you're surrounded by
Opposition.
supporters.
When you lose and you're surrounded by Blues.
Yeah. It's really shit. So that was my
It's all
that
right.
was my Friday night.
It's not season over for you guys.
No, not at all.
And it's never as bad as it seems, from a St Kilda perspective, and it's never as good as it seems from a Carlton perspective. Like it was a hard-fought win.
Oh, here we go.
It was a hard-fought win. What?
Oh, I thought you were going to go on a spiel about the Blues again.
No, it was a hard-fought win, and they definitely their big stars came to play. Like I thought, I thought Walsh played his best game for the season that week. On the Friday night, I thought he was at his prolific best.
Nick Haynes was tremendous.
Nick
as well.
Haynes,
Yeah,
Silvani.
we have a really not great midfield as well, so they look much better against a midfield
McRae,
that struggles.
McRae did not fire as well as he did the week before. Steele as well. Very defensively minded, tackling more than winning the ball himself, I feel. So kudos to the Blues for, winning that game, which could be important
Philippi will
end of the
be
season.
great.
I mean-
a great inclusion into the midfield when he's fully back to normal.
Yeah.
The only thing that made me feel better was the thought of once again knocking the Blues out of the 8 in the last game of the season. So
That was good.
we'll just keep the motivation there.
Next time,
We'll get you next time. Carlton.
play at Marvel next time.
We are. Don't worry.
Very good. We go to Thursday night. The first game of the round was between Fremantle and Collingwood.
Did you watch?
I did watch.
It was a good game.
And I was so disappointed in Fremantle. Oh my god.
it was
What
a
a
good
basket
game.
case.
They are.
Seriously.
They are honestly. I'm so disappointed in this team.
Yeah. They're not a premiership team.
They can be though,
No, they're not though.
but it's the coaching.
Yeah, they're not a premiership team with him in charge.
It's
If this was any
frustrating.
other sporting code, he would have gotten sacked Friday.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't understand the extra leash that we give coaches to. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, there's
They
a lot
need to be more ruthless.
I just think it's a lot more complicated than the head coach, and you can't really. I don't know. It's probably more complicated than that.
I don't know. I just think that there was a setup problem, and too often they were caught out the back. You know, that you come in with a game plan and you want to sort of execute that game plan, but as soon as you start to see that it's not working, you need to adjust. You need to
Yes.
make some changes,
Correct.
and you need to implement the backup option. And if that's not working, the backup to the backup. Like you're not supposed to be there, sitting in the box, looking at the players and seeing it collapse and seeing the same thing happen over and over and over again. How many times do you want to have Jamie Elliott coming up the back and marking uncontested?
Every time.
Like, do you want to do it all?
I
Like,
love it.
I know he's great. Jamie Elliott's a legend. He's a
Let
star.
him out.
Just let him do whatever he
That's
wants.
right. We
really?
wanna see it.
You know, like it seemed like their game plan was we're gonna tag Nick Dacos out of oblivion.
Yeah.
And because they have all these
Did you
experienced
see that
players.
social media post the following day?
Which one?
From Fremantle the day after the loss. Last night, Corey Wagner did a job on Nick Dacos and had his lowest disposals since round 15, 2024. Add that to the trophy cabinet.
Well
First
done.
thing of all, Freo. Second of all, round 15 last year, Collingwood had the bye. What?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They had a dated stew on it and they posted that.
And
That's
I think
kinda
that's the last
ridiculous.
thing Freo fans want to see. Yeah, we lost to a side where they rested half their team into a 5-day break going to Perth. But at least Nick Dacos was quiet.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
that's pretty
fucking-
shit.
Like seriously,
can't believe-
if even your social media team is a rabble as well, like just fold or,
It's just-
or merge with Tassie. I
That's
don't
just
know.
so embarrassing.
I don't know. Do you think it's that the coach reaction is more to the hype than it is to the actual legitimate game styles? Like, are they watching other games and making those choices, or are they listening to the hype? And because I think, yeah, Nick Dacos is a great player, but I think if we've been watching this season, I don't know if he's been the standout that like a lot of other players have been on the team. Like the forwards have been amazing.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if that would be my plan.
Yeah, Nick
just-
clearly thrives on the support and assistance
Yeah.
and the protection that he gets from a steel side bottom, from
Yeah.
a Scott Pendlebury.
Yeah.
And
Like
they
they
weren't
have a
there.
great connection.
They weren't
They
there.
weren't there.
Right.
So if you're Fremantle, you should know that, all right, he's going to have to maybe do a lot more of the inside grunt work, which isn't necessarily his game style, or maybe he's going to be relying on others that aren't quite as good as Pendlebury and side bottom.
Right.
Why not win the ball ourselves
Right.
and back in our system? Because they do have a good list. They have a
Well,
really
two
good
of their
list. and they're playing at
four
home.
main midfielders were out though, so that was probably another reason.
What,
to
Hayden
do it.
Young?
Hayden Young and Jager. He's been playing a lot more in the midfield this year.
Yeah, but he's been
I-
out for a few weeks
I think
now.
there's-
They should've-
Yeah, but it meant more like, that's their main two defensive midfielders. They probably had to throw Corey Wagner in there.
I just think for a team that was considered a top 8 team at the start of the year,
Yeah.
they've had a really deplorable performance
for sure.
so far.
We were so hot on them.
We were.
And, I think...
I thought they were top 4.
yeah, they've had a
Yeah,
few
no.
injuries. I'll give them that.
Few
So
injuries, yeah.
maybe we overrated their depth
Yeah.
to when they get injuries. But still pretty inexcusable for what they're capable of, and I'll be baffled if they keep Longmuir past this year because it felt like a massive finals or get sacked situation, and there's still a long way to go, so they could still very much make finals. Every team has ups and downs throughout the season. Can't rule out any side, other than a few.
West
Coast, North, and Richmond, but it's not looking good currently right now for Freo.
Well, he doesn't have that fixed year contract anymore. He's now on a.
No, they signed him to the end of 26.
Is it? I thought it was a
so they did the same bullshit as what they did last year. It was stupid.
Okay.
It's a stupid idea.
See, talent isn't everything, and this is a perfect example.
Because they do have great talent. They've got Jackson the Ruck. They've got Brayshaw, who's almost a lock for All-Australian at this point. They've got Sarong. They've added Shea Bolton to the side, and he was wonderful as well over there at Richmond. He's supposed to provide that X factor.
I've not seen much from Shea Bolton all year.
So there is definitely a spine there as well. So hence our disappointment. It's not because we hate you, Freo. It's because we love you and we expect more.
What do they got to do with Sean Darcy, do you reckon?
Well, it seems to me that the general consensus amongst the Freo supporters that I've spoken to,
they've had enough.
They've had enough that he can't get his body right. It's been so many years now. Might as well see what they can get for him.
That's such an awful contract, though. What club would want to take him on unless you're paying some of his salary?
It's like Grundy again, isn't it?
Yeah. They'll have to pay most of the salary, and Geelong get him for a third rounder, and he's back to normal.
Yep. Yep.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
Well, in order of the games that we haven't spoken to, it's my boys.
Your boys.
The Bombrays. We got up
Yes.
over those shit swans, and they have the gall to complain.
Gusta.
Yeah, and they have the gall to complain about the umpires.
The umpires
the
are bad at every
Swans
game.
Have such short memory. Do you not remember the goalpost gate? Seriously? Rampy literally climbed the post. Piss off, Sydney
That
Swans.
was like 20 years ago.
Bro, and it's still as if it happened yesterday.
Fucking hell, who cares about that now?
They were whinging and whining about how physical we were last year, and then they went and they were petitioning for 2 meter Peter. You guys don't have to listen. And they were petitioning for 2 meter Peter to get the max suspension possible after that collision. He did 7 weeks because those scumbags were going on. Oh, he's a brute. There's a thug act. It was deliberate. Blah blah blah. Papley talking his mouth off, saying that we're not tough. Yeah, piss off, Papley. What happened in the grand final, mate? So there we go. I've had my little rant. It's so great beating the Swans. We were the underdogs.
You were the underdogs.
You both tipped against us.
I tipped you in the end.
Fair enough. Okay.
I forgot who I tipped.
Yeah,
you tipped the Swans.
I think I went Sydney.
I
did.
I did
Yeah.
tip Essendon at the pub.
Look, in the show, you tipped the Swans, but it's all right. I forgive you for that.
Yeah.
So,
Good receipt.
Yeah.
we did so well. I'm so proud of us. Are you proud of us?
I'm glad. Are you proud of you? I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm happy for you, Joe.
I'm happy.
I'm happy for you, Joe.
You got to get your wins this season. You got to get your wins, and
5 of our last 6 have been wins.
yeah, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
We would have finished the round in the 8 if it wasn't for GWS beating Geelong in Geelong. We would have been 8th in the ladder. Crazy. Don't look at the percentage though, but still, yeah.
I think Essendon are finally on the correct trajectory.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
It
so.
feels like just the feel. For once, they haven't rushed the rebuild because they had one bounce up, like one leap season, and then just go all in and then trade your picks, do all that, and then go back again, rebuild, do that. You know, they're actually doing it patiently. I think Brad Scott's the right person in charge, whether that's coach or whatever the case may be at the club. He is a good person to have at the club, and he hasn't changed in what it's like in his press conferences. He's been very consistent about how this is going to take some time, and that's good to hear.
Yes.
Instead of just rushing it every time you guys have a bounce up season. Yep. That. So yeah.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah. So I think Essendon.
You're on a roll.
Yeah,
We're
the
on a roll.
spine's looking a lot healthier.
A lot into the spines today.
Zach Reed. Zach Bloody Reid.
My boy.
You got Durham in the middle. You got Nate Caddy, young star. You got a good
Kako.
Kako,
For Kako.
young
I
star,
love
small
watching him.
forward.
Yeah.
I think what pleased
The Bombers
me
are
most,
finally on the up.
I know. See the Bombers fly up. Now, the thing that pleased me the most from that win was that it wasn't our. If I told you that Essendon won the game, you would automatically assume, oh, Zach Merritt must have had a ripper. Or it must have been 2 meter
Right.
Peter.
And it
2
was
meter
your
Peter
it was
maybe
team.
kicked 5 goals. You know, like you'd probably say the same olds at the Essendon who would have had the major part to play.
Yeah.
But it was the kids.
Yeah.
It was Zach Reid. It was Durham. It was Caddy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
these are the one. It was Saad on the wing. Like it
Yeah.
was the youngsters. It wasn't the mature age players.
Right.
And it was 2 meter Peter didn't kick a goal.
Yeah.
Langford didn't kick a goal. Merritt had his lowest disposal count in God knows how long. There was no Ridley out there. You know, like it was the youngsters that took us over, that got us over the line at the end there. And that's what really is the most pleasing thing from an Essendon perspective is that, even when, our skipper, our inspirational leaders tagged out of a game, there are others that can still step up now and it becomes more of a team effort, as you say, because we've always been a team that's recruited a big name, for example, as you
Right.
said. We'd recruit someone, would have them be the shining new toy.
Just
to
rushing
throw
it
to
a
the-
bit,
Yeah.
thinking you're a
Yeah.
lot better than what you actually are. When sometimes it takes a fair while
Yeah.
to get where you want to go. And look, Essendon, it's still a work in progress at the minute for
sure.
Essendon, but the foundation is there for the future. And a couple of years' time, if you guys continue to stay patient, which I'm pretty sure you will, I think you'll finally see some good things on the up for the Dons.
Well, our patience certainly has been tested at times over this long drought, but we sort of have to be patient as well if we're going to be getting season-ending injuries every second week.
What a stitch up that
Poor
is.
Hayes. Poor
Yeah.
Hazy on debut was doing so well. Another one bites the dust. The hanger is cursed.
No. Fucking St Kilda are cursed.
The hanger is cursed. That's now another season-ending injury. We've had a major injury in 7 of our 9 games.
Listen.
7 out of 9.
That just means you need a little depth.
Little depth. We're going to be raiding the mid-season draft.
Bring back Sam Grimley. What's Jonathan Simpkin up to these days?
my
What about
I
Matty
think-
D or
just-
Luke Loudon?
No one knows a drought like a St Kilda supporter, man.
Don't make this about you now.
Yeah,
It is.
We're talking about Essendon.
All right, fine.
We're talking about how
Essendon.
cursed we are.
Just if you
Thoughts and
we're way
prayers.
more cursed than you. Maybe
All
it's
right.
the colours.
Maybe it's the colours. We're 2/3 of you. I don't know.
2/3.
Anyway.
All right. We then move on to a ripping game up in Darwin where the Suns...
Yeah, you know how good of a round it was. When you say ripping game, I actually don't know which one you're talking about.
I know, they're all ripping. I know, apart from yours. That wasn't very ripping.
Yeah, it felt very refreshing.
Exactly.
yeah.
The Suns are still undefeated in Darwin, 7 for 7, getting over the line against the Bulldogs.
It's just a
Yeah,
huge
the
advantage,
doggies
isn't
lost.
it? It's
The
unbelievable.
Doggies lost.
I
The
tipped,
doggies
I
fine.
tipped the
Yeah.
dogs. I thought Bond
Wah,
would be
wah.
immune.
I don't remember who I tipped. Did I tip the dog?
I went.
did to the dogs.
I went Suns.
You tipped the Suns. You were correct
Yeah.
last week.
I think you both went Dogs.
We
I
both
think
went
I
dogs.
did.
For Port Adelaide,
No.
losing. Sorry. You're
what
really
was I
happy
saying?
that Port
I
Adelaide
was
lost.
really happy that they lost. But also really disinterested in that game in general.
What?
Well, for
The
you,
least interesting nail biter of the round.
Yeah.
I don't like either of those teams. I'm not excited to watch
Kane
them.
Corns versus the Bird. Is that why?
I don't know. It just wasn't that interesting to me.
Gee, the Port Power came flying back into this. They had no right being that close, but my word, they came flying back. What do you reckon?
I fell asleep at halftime.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you what, I'm an old man these days. I went to bed at 8 and woke up at 8 on a Saturday night. Like,
Yeah.
there you go.
Well,
So you slept no
You
hours? You slept
coulda-
no minutes?
You could
No.
have had a drink. You know?
No, day drinking at the footy. I was just completely pissed. But sorry, with Port
You
versus
fell asleep at half time. It was a 5-point margin.
yeah, well, I can't control that. Anyway, brave from the Crows. Hard to talk about the game, but yeah, good winning for the Crows.
Good one for the Crows.
I was asleep for most
I'll
of
just
it.
say, I'll just say that Rosie was wonderful.
But the
And-
Crows fans booed him.
One
I
great
saw.
game.
Yeah, they did.
Well,
I
then that's
I
fine.
agree that he was deserving of the medal. I agree. Even though
Do
it
you
was a
always
loss-
have to give it to the winner though?
No, I think you just give it to the best player. And if the best player happens to be on the losing team, so be it. I remember back when maybe 2 years ago, Darcy Parish for us against Geelong in Geelong, we lost by 80 odd points, but Darcy Parish still won the best on ground award because he kicked two goals and had 45
What
disposals.
medal is a Geelong Essendon game?
It was, I'm pretty sure that.
Is it the country
It might
game?
be country game,
Ah.
but it was played in Geelong, so I'm not entirely sure why there was an award given.
Yeah.
But there was a best on ground at the time. And he
The
had
VB medal goes to Darcy Barris. Good on you, mate.
He had like 45 disposals, 2 goals or something ridiculous. Like he had a wonderful game that
Yeah,
day. I had vice captain and super coach. He went 180 that day.
Oh, good for you.
So yeah, I was very happy with that. So yeah, I believe Rosie was deserving of the medal, and anyone who booed him, shame on you. Because
Maybe they just don't like Port Adelaide.
of course they don't like Port Adelaide. They're Adelaide. The Crows hate the Power and vice versa.
Okay.
But doesn't
How
mean
would
you
it be-
boo someone during the ceremony.
Fine.
How
I'm
would
not
it be
supporting
like
that,
at
I'm just
work?
saying.
How would it be like at work? You work at an office job in Adelaide. You walk in Monday morning. You're either Crow or a Power, and yeah, would
You
be a
just
good-
don't walk into work, I think.
Yeah, I think that might be a work from home situation.
a work
Maybe
from home.
it is a work
Yeah.
from home.
Maybe the company acknowledges, because of the 2-team town, that if your team lost on the weekend, it's in your contract that you can
I
avoid
don't
working
think they
in that day.
Yeah, that
You
Monday.
You just work from home.
Tuesday, you're just in a better mood.
I
Exactly.
don't know if
But
they care about footy that much in Adelaide.
they care about it a lot.
Oh no, they do.
They care about it a
Maybe.
lot. 2 teams that cares.
If you went to Gather Round, you would know.
You freaking ruined the segue, but it's all right. It's all
I
right.
ruined it too
You
bad.
ruined the segue. I was about to say 2 teams who are also caring about a win. One team more than the other. The Eagles still haven't won. They fall just agonizingly short to a game-saving tackle against the Tigers.
Tom Brown.
Eagles.
Tom
Big tackle.
Battle
Brown.
of the spoon.
The Spoon Bowl was won.
Not only can he break news stories, he can also do a game-saving tackle.
That's
Aye.
exactly right. Tom Brown, what a legend. His best moment in his life.
Yep.
That was the tackle of the year.
Oh. Well, when it's a close game, it's a close game, you know? I like that the games were close. It's like, then you kind of want to watch, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Nobody wants to see anyone get slaughtered.
We do a footy podcast. Oh, it makes me actually want to tune in
No,
now.
but you know what I mean? Like,
Let me watch the replay now.
If someone was like, "Oh, which game of the round would you watch?" I wouldn't go, "Oh, the Richmond West Coast one." Like,
Yeah,
that's
true,
going to be
true.
my choice. But when you hear the game is competitive, you kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
or you see like a quarter and you think, you know what? I'm going to actually leave this one. I'm going to see this one through. Looks like fun.
It was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun. It wasn't high level football, but it was.
Well, what was?
It was still high energy though. It was
Yeah.
high. I didn't even realize they came in as Walich Marawar. So yeah, they came in there with the Aboriginal.
No,
name.
they've changed some of the badges and names due to Sir Douglas Nichols round coming up this week.
Oh,
That's this week.
So yeah,
Very
that's
nice.
just that's just the update.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is done. This has been done.
yeah,
Okay, post game. Sure, fair enough.
yeah.
But Jay Tom Gross will be wishing that. Did you see Minnie McWalters?
Mini McMuffin. What were you gonna
Muffins.
say?
I don't know what I was gonna call him. Mini bar fridge. I don't know. He was very pissed off at the fact that Gross was caught there.
Because of how close they were. How close they were to their first win.
Why not? I don't know who it was next to Gross telling him, go, rather than being one of those airport, the guys who wave the flags.
Go.
Yeah,
Ignore the person behind you. Go.
Rather than doing that, why doesn't he put the shepherd on or something? Rather than saying, go for it, mate. You're open in front, not from behind. Like, so dumb, man, honestly.
And it's an 18-year-old kid. Like, some people were haying shit on his on his Instagram
Oh,
page.
poor kid, no.
And it's like, get a grip, turn it up,
Absolutely.
you
Get a
absolute dickhead.
Troll.
But fuck, if you got better, surely you got better things to do than hang shit on people
Agree.
on social media. But anyway,
Well, hey,
I
we
don't
know lots of people who do
he's an
that.
18-year-old kid. There were a couple of
know what?
times where that happened. He'll learn. So it was just unfortunate
I
situation.
thought that was good for football.
It was. What?
Just picking on
Abusing
people
on
on
him
social
online.
media. Online abuse.
Well, Willie
Commentary,
Rioli had that
abusive
ticked off.
commentary, singling out one player.
Yes. All right, but yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways,
Next up,
we move on.
moving on.
The Cats refuse to beat the Giants at
They do.
GMHBA Stadium.
You know, good on the Giants.
I feel like you're going to say that about every team that won. Thankfully, there's only one game after this one.
Get
Why
stiff,
is
Geelong.
it good on the Giants?
Because the Cats need to get beat at home, especially if their field has an unfair advantage. Which, by the way, did I mention how nice that grass is?
You
That is
did.
just lovely grass over at GM.
Well, you're also telling us about other things
Well,
that you
it
probably
wasn't-
shouldn't have told us
Yeah,
about.
oh,
It
did
wasn't
we
as
go
good as
into
previous
that?
weeks. They were shooting.
Good on the Giants.
They were shooting a film during the week on the
Yeah.
ground, so that's why it looked like a gridiron.
That is why it looked like gridiron if you did read that.
Yeah,
article.
yeah.
Mhm,
What,
that was all
what were they shooting? I actually didn't look it up.
We are an undecided title yet. Sometimes we're Mr. Irrelevant. Sometimes we're the diver. Sometimes we're something else. We don't really have like a. It's the story of John Tuggle.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Do you
there
know
go.
about him?
No.
He's
Oh.
one of the last people to be drafted in the NFL and
Oh, okay.
died.
Do you know what the NFL is?
Yeah.
Unexpectedly.
National Football League.
Unexpected. Went through a lot of illness and trial and tribulation, and then he died.
Oh.
He had a big comeback,
Spoiler alert.
and then he died. Well, that's his story. So if you know
I
about
was
John
joking.
Tuggle.
I wasn't going to watch it anyway.
Okay, well, thank you. Who said you were invited?
Oh
Anyway.
my God.
Hey, it's the Superman is playing John Tuggle, so it'd be cool.
Oh.
But yeah, that is Geelong Stadium, and it looks cool. Diamond crusted grass. Who doesn't like it? It's pretty
Very
expensive
impressive.
grass. That's
Very
all I
nice.
know.
Very nice. But the Giants just love playing there.
Yeah, good for them.
They're so good.
Somebody needs to beat Geelong at Geelong. So if it's the Giants, fair.
I won't complain.
Well done.
You're a hawk. Of course you don't. You
Twinkle
you-
Toes is at it again.
I was just laughing after the game. They did it again.
Yeah.
Good on
five,
them.
5 games in a row at GMHBA.
Wow.
GWS have knocked off the Cats.
Mm,
And I
look at that.
posed the question on Twitter right after the game. Is this the best modern day matchup currently? GWS and Geelong.
Ooh.
Every
In
game's
Geelong?
a ripping game.
In Geelong?
Oh, it just doesn't matter.
Or it doesn't
There's
matter.
been some good
Mm.
games that
Essendon versus Sydney
no.
just happens to be the
Oh,
close.
that's not
like,
far off.
it just happens to be close every single time.
Yeah.
Regardless of where we
but
are on
if
the
we're
ladder.
talking about like team performance, I would say that they're pretty even. Like the Giants and Geelong, they give pretty even performances. Like I would say that they're both good teams.
Yeah, they are.
And they're both strong teams, and you really don't ever know. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, it's certainly
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's up there.
It's very. I'm just trying to look
yeah,
up.
Jesse Hogan. How good was he, by the way?
Yeah, he's. You know,
Best key forward in the comp.
He's doing wonderful stuff.
I'm okay with that game turning out the way it did. I believe I tipped the Giants.
Tip the Giants, did you?
Mm-hmm.
I keep going the Cats again.
Yeah, I tipped the Cats as well. I don't know why. I literally said it on the pod last
I don't
week
remember what
that
I
the
said, but I
Giants,
think I
off the top of my
tipped
head,
the Giants.
always seem to have a good matchup against the Cats over
Yeah.
there.
I might have actually tipped the Giants on the pod, but I changed it to Geelong.
Oh, you're doing one of those.
I don't remember.
You do those bet hedging so many times.
And
You
I
know
never
what-
seem to get anything wrong.
Yeah. You know who got it? Who got the next game wrong? Everyone.
Not all, we all got it right. Because we all got a tick.
You know, I was like, that's one game I just don't want to watch because I don't want to see the Kangaroos get slaughtered on a nice weekend. I just didn't want to watch it. And then look what happened.
They didn't want to watch it either.
Oh my
So they made sure it didn't happen.
Can upset of the year be a draw?
No.
No.
Oh, I feel like that's a pretty big upset for Brisbane.
No, they didn't lose.
They didn't win.
But they didn't lose.
Brisbane didn't beat North.
That's right.
And North didn't beat Brisbane either.
I would say it's almost like they did.
I'll just say that our win against North Melbourne looks really good last week. And now, all of a sudden,
I don't know. I think North played a good game of football.
they did.
They did.
They blew
good,
it.
Good for them.
Brisbane was shit.
It was.
This is the worst
wasn't it
Brisbane I've
lost?
seen.
It was a missed goal though. That was the reason why they lost, right? North, in the end.
They had
In
an
the end,
opportunity.
they missed. Was it Kamza who missed the last
Well,
Yeah.
goal?
Cam Sohar missed. There was
He-
another
Damn.
opportunity
He
after
squeezed
that.
a point.
Yeah.
The handy point.
Yeah.
But
But there was other opportunity. It was, I think,
Yeah.
Stevens.
yeah, Stevens.
And then there was another guy right in front of him.
It's hard.
Either
it's hard.
flick
You're
the
gonna
hand,
be dying.
either flick the handball off to the guy in front of you, or the guy in front of you shepherds for you to gain more territory.
Oh my
You
God.
didn't see anyone on the boundary line holding these massive signs the
Oh.
size of 5 times my head with this thing that said 30 seconds on it. Just get any score,
How
bro.
constipated did everyone feel
Oh,
for the
and-
last 5
No.
minutes of that
Every
game?
sphincter, man, was just
like,
and they just had to kick. They just had to, rather than kick it to the pocket, like just run to 50 and kick a point or
Just
something.
Get it, just shoot it right into the goal.
No, he decides to want to lace out a guy, running away from him towards the boundary line.
Surely
So
from the midfield you could inaccurately kick a behind. I mean, you just take a
No,
Take a fucking shot.
Why wouldn't you just change sport? And if it's inside your forward 50, just play rugby and just charge for the
mean, that
point
too.
and just do a
Yeah,
try.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, anything.
Tom McDonald did it. I forgot how long ago it was. I think it was like 6 years ago. Actually, maybe not that long ago. Anyway, it was scores a level. 5 seconds to go. The ball was up in the air on the Melbourne goal square, and all Tom McDonald did was just punch it through, and they won the game.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And that was the craziest shit I've seen.
That happened before Dean
yeah,
Rampy's
it
crime
only
post,
took
by
a
the way.
punch, which, by the way, did you see Nasiah's block on socials?
Oh, that was nice.
Just
Oh, right in the Carlton
knocked the hat
player's
right off
face.
the
Carlton fan's
supporter's head.
face.
That's the only satisfying thing I got out of that.
There was another punch that thankfully the MRO did not lose all their mind about with the Zach Merritt tap on,
Ah, yeah.
which ended up, man, it didn't hit Blakey. Blakey put the mayo
That
on it.
looked a little wimpy. I said it last
No,
week. There's way
didn't-
too much Academy Award fucking performances.
Yep.
I'm sick of
That
it.
was one of them because he put the mayo
so
on
annoying.
to try
Bo
and win a
Allen,
free
Bo
kick.
Allen did the same thing. He got a week.
No, he literally tapped the ball
It's the
on.
exact same action.
He tapped the ball on.
So
Lizard-
Merritt's action was the exact same.
Did you
he
see
didn't hit his
how
face.
dramatic Blakey was?
Lizard
He
put
nearly
the,
got concussed.
Oh man, it was so dramatic.
He nearly got concussed.
Everyone nearly gets concussed. It's footy.
Lizard put on the mayo to try and draw a free kick, but because
Why was
he
he in the rooms for 20 minutes then?
because
Because he's a baby.
because
no,
they
that's not how it works.
because they had to do the HIA on him because he sold the mayo.
Yeah.
right.
And then he
There's
got
clearly enough contact in it to send them down the road.
No.
He threw his head into the ground.
You
That's
see, most
why.
of the time on the bench, players,
Oh, come on.
they get a little checkup and doctors review the footage and say if you're all good.
Yeah.
And
But when they look like they've literally passed out on the field,
Exactly.
they have to check them.
He put so much mayo
Such a
on it.
baby.
He put so much mayo on it and laid down
No,
on the
that's
ground
not
for
how it
so
works.
long that they
That's
called
not
him
how it
off.
works.
Baby Blakey.
Yes.
That's what he is from now on.
And
He
then
ain't no
Blakey
lizard to
was
me.
so pissed off that he had to be taken off for the HIA because he knows he was putting mayo
That's
on
right.
it.
Yes, because that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's
No.
why he was pissed
No,
off.
footy's never worked like that.
It has just then.
No. Well, because he's a baby, he goes to the room.
That's right.
No,
Because he
that's-
made it look
it's
like
never been a thing.
he made it look
Ever
like he
before.
passed out.
No.
He looked unconscious because he's a little baby.
Bro, when someone's on the ground like this
Yeah, exactly.
and struggling for a
the
minute,
way he
2
just
minutes.
flopped on the ground.
Exactly.
Like a,
he was
like a
down
rag doll.
and out. When someone sees that, you think, oh, crap, he's been hit high. Let's
exactly.
take him off for the concussion
Exactly.
test.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
That was a wimpy thing to
Wimp.
do. He should have got up and played the game.
Exactly.
He should have dealt with it, and he didn't. Wimp.
Instead,
And maybe that's why you lost.
that's exactly why they lost, because he had to go off for the HIA, even though he was pissed off about it. It's like, no, I'm fine. Don't send me off for the HIA. But they're like, nah, sorry, you freaking acted the way that you did, so we got to take you off.
It looked like you passed out, Blakey.
It
It
looked-
looked like,
yeah.
you fainted on the field.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's big enough contact to get a week then.
Oh,
He
God.
didn't hit him. He hit the
Fainted.
ball.
This is, oh, my God.
He hit the ball.
No.
Barely
How did the
touched
ball
him.
go forward then?
He barely
Take your
touched
Essendon
him.
jacket off.
And if you watch the slow-mo of this footage, what happened really is that Blakey tripped over his back foot.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why he fell.
Okay.
And he just laid into it because his head got brushed by a finger. He's a baby, and that was a bad call. And I'm sick of seeing everyone do it. Everyone's
Agreed.
doing it.
Agreed.
Just play the damn game.
And I must say, to be fair, Nick Martin did something similar in the back line, which then gave him a dangerous tackle free kick. He was tackled fairly in our back line in the last 3 minutes of the game, and he stayed on the ground for a bit longer and made it look like his head hit the ground.
Yeah.
We can't be having this. It's a two-way street. It's
That's
not
right.
just one way. I'm only calling out Blakey for antics. Also, Nick Martin, make sure that you don't do that, because this sort of behaviour is only going to cause issues for each other, and it's only going to make the game harder to umpire,
Yeah.
and people are going to be taking advantage of this. So,
That's right.
Nick Martin, you're a much better player than
you-
that. Don't do it, please.
And you
next
know
time.
what? I have no respect for a team that wins on free kicks. So, play good footy. That shouldn't be part of the game.
Agreed.
It shouldn't be, we've got all our goals from free kicks, which is how we've lost a majority of our games this year, from free kicks to the opposition. I'm sick of seeing it. Just play the damn game. Stop being babies.
Here.
Anyway, but the North Brisbane game, well done.
Well
it was
done.
a great way to seal the weekend.
Absolutely. Well done. Kudos to
It's
North.
always a bit sad though when it's like the last game of the round and you don't even hear a song. It's just
No,
silence.
lost.
It's
But
just
you
silence.
didn't hear the Brisbane. You didn't hear the Brisbane song, so
No,
I
no.
I'm
would
happy
have
about
found
that.
that
No song.
satisfying.
I'm happy about that.
As a North supporter, you got to be satisfied at least with that game.
How much therapy do you need to support St Kilda and North?
There's not enough.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll end it. We'll end it with those laughs.
One more thing. One more thing, Joe.
What?
There's always the debate every year about the draw. And we
Yes.
probably had this debate last
love
year, but I
it.
forgot what we said.
I love it.
Keep the draw.
Keep
Oh,
the
I
draw.
think you should keep it.
Calm
Yeah,
the
I
draw.
like the
Yeah.
draw. I like the draw.
Calm the
yeah,
draw.
yeah.
Otherwise, there's
Yeah.
no panic.
Yeah, the game goes long enough.
Yeah.
It's just we all want to go home.
Coming from a country that really doesn't love the draw, and in most of the sports, it's actually really great to know that there's that much pressure on that moment, because otherwise it just goes on and on and on, and then you just don't even want to watch it anymore because you're sick of it. And also, these players are tired; they can't do more
Yeah, they
time.
get asked enough. So
Yeah.
Calm the draw.
calm the
Yeah,
draw. We love
calm
the
the
draw.
draw.
We love the
I
draw.
get disappointed if there's not a draw in a season. Like
there's gotta be
that's
at least
how that's
one.
how much of a closeted draw supporter I am.
That's right.
Yeah,
Well, I like it.
Get back in your closet, please.
Get back.
This is- I don't like. I
gladly.
don't like ending the show with you talking about closets now.
Stay out, Steve. Stay out. We like you out here on the bench.
No, I'll stay in.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you had to see or hear here today, please drop us a like, subscribe if you're new, notification bell, and rate us 5 stars on Spotify, please, because it helps us greatly with the
Yes.
reach and with the engagement and becoming bigger and better, because we love to do this, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We love it.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
Don't you?
Sounds like he needs to be convinced. All right. Well, he's got no choice. He's here for the tips episode after this. So make sure you stick around for the tips. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Happy Easter.
Happy Mother's Day, actually.
Happy Mother's Day.
Love, We all love our mums.
Actually,
We all love our mums.
Happy Mother's Day
Yes.
to all the mums out there. We love
Yeah,
you
we
all the
all.
love our
mums,
mums.
all the ladies
And
in
the
general,
grandmas and the
all
aunts.
the
Yep.
potential mums,
Yeah.
The godmothers,
all
whatever.
the ladies.
Thank you for being a mum.
Bye.